All right. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late, and I was doing a couple things, but I'm on now, so I'm gonna wait a few minutes for people to come on. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and share. So when you come on, if you like, subscribe and share, I would appreciate it if you do that. So I'm gonna use my sailor here, and I'm going to share. It's been kind of cold here in Florida. It's wow, like wow. I kind of expected that around the holidays, but oh yeah, it's been crazy. Okay, so let me go there. Uh, uh, how's everybody doing? Hopefully you're having a blessed day. Hey, Wendy. So I am going to share. If you would like share, oh, give me a second here, and then I'll get started. Usually I like to have already shared, but that's okay. I'm sharing now. Oh, I don't need to send it to. Oh, I need to send it there. Oh well. Let's see here. All right, I'm almost finished. Okay. All righty. So this is a new day with new possibilities. Like I said earlier, it was kind of cold here, but and rainy. But you know the weather changed. So my name is Annette L. Anderson, and this is TNT. This is Tuesday Night Talk, and this is where we take flight and soar. We speak it, orate it, articulate it, and reverberate it, and we just talk about a few things and what's going on in society, what's going on uh, in the world, actually. One of the things that I've been kind of watching, how they're passing all these laws with the critical race theory. It's very interesting that the focus is just on white kids. I have a problem with that, because you don't want them to feel a certain way. So we've been telling you all along that we feel a certain way. I guess it don't matter. And so the thing with the critical race theory that get on my nerve is already been proven that it's not being taught in school. It's college level. But then we would have people running around playing dumb. And so I believe they're going to try to use this to try to stop certain things from being taught in school. But I declare that I'm just as a woman of God, I declare that's not going to happen. Because really, if the truth be told, you can try to ban books and ban teaching, but you can't ban social media. Social media. So the more you talk about critical race theory, the more people are going to go and look at it. So this is my thought on it. Not that anybody care, but I'm going to say anyway. The problem I have, if they would have told the truth about history hundreds of years ago, then and even recently, then it wouldn't be a critical race theory because you told the history. And so I was thinking, I said, well, I have a problem with the theme Christopher Columbus discovered America. He can't discover nothing when somebody else was here. So some of that stuff we were taught was false. We was taught lies. We were taught how wonderful, our forefathers were. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. But I mean, it's truth. So we want to sugarcoat it and make it look like it's so wonderful. So you're trying to stop it. You're not going to stop it. You may be able to halt in schools, certain schools, because some schools going to teach anyway, but it's not even being taught. So that's what I'm like. Okay, so you've passed the laws for what may happen. Like wow. And so these are the things. This is one of the things that really bug me today. But excuse me, I understand um, who I am, and I know at the end of the day, man can do whatever man wants to do, but that has nothing to do with what God's going to do. I just think it's silly, and people act like they don't want to say anything about it. Oh, I'm going to say it because it's ridiculous and it's stupid. And I'm sorry, I'm so glad now I'm having children in school, but I have grandkids, and if I was a parent, I would go and I would complain. I'll be at those board meetings and say, "Hold up, wait a minute." It's not just white kids that's in school. It's not just white kids. You don't want them to feel a certain way. They'll be offended. How are you going to be offended about history? Because if that's the case, then I'm really offended because all that foolishness I learned was foolishness. And I didn't even learn certain history until I was grown because they didn't teach it in school. Now I know I've had people here say, "Oh, well, they taught it at our school." Well, maybe at your school, but at my school, it was cherry picked and hand picked who they talked about, and people in general had a lot to do with history, but they decided they didn't want to teach that. and you're trying to go back to that, and that's ridiculous. It's not going to go back to that. No, no, because I'm going to talk about it, and so many other platforms going to talk about it, and you know, it's on social media. Anything you want to know, you want to learn about Black history, history and Spanish history. It's so many people that contributed to this country as a whole. And so we can't cherry pick at what we think or what should be taught or what shouldn't be taught. Because I have a problem with the parents. Y'all will carry on about that, but have you been going to school and see the progress of your children? We're running around with signs, but when little Johnny acted up in school, are we there? All that is fine. Well, I want my children to learn. No, I want my children and my grandkids, I want them well-rounded because they're not going to be kids always. And so we need to prepare them for this country. Oh yeah, you can hide history all you want to, but it's not going to stop kids from learning it. No, it's just silly. And so we need to start petitioning for something. I need to stop. They need to start talking about George Washington. You know, all these slave owners. I'm sorry, it's the truth, but it's history. So you can't, like, again, you can't cherry pick history. Tell history like it is, good, bad, or ugly. There was some good in history and there's some bad in history. You know, a January 6th is history now. It was some bad in that situation, and it's coming out. All, you know, the behind the scene foolishness. But anyway, I'm off my soapbox, but I definitely I say I'm going to say something. I'm not going to pretend like it's not there. I don't care who don't want to hear it. You know, this is a platform you really don't have to be here. It's a choice. You know, but it's not to be mean or ugly, but we cannot sit around with our head in the sand acting like we don't see what's going on. We have children, grandchildren. We live in this country. We were born and raised and contributed. I worked 37 years serving others. I didn't serve in the armed forces, but I did. I served in social work, helping people, help people find houses and apartments, helping people get food stamps and Medicaid. So I've served, and so don't cherry pick what you want to tell our children. That's wrong. That's wrong, and I hate it. And the bad part about it is you're making a big deal about something that don't exist. What that does is you're using that. This is my opinion. You're using that to change some other laws to try to take books off the shelf. Even in Daytona, they had taken like a couple of books off the shelves, and NAACP stepped in and said, "Hold up, wait a minute." You know, they would try to do that on the slide, being slick, and that's what the enemy does. You don't tell me what my children need to know. They need to know. I'm like, just like the little white kids, you don't want to be offended. We don't want our Black kids offended. Just like you don't want them to feel a certain way. When we send our kids to school, we don't want them to feel a certain way. So it should go both ends. You shouldn't decide that you just want the white kids. Because I read some of the law. You know, you try to change some verbiage, but the truth is the truth. And it's annoying, and it's a doggone shame that we live in this country and we pay taxes and you're citizens and vote and all that, and then you just come with a absurd law and you're passing it across the country, and you're doing that because you think you're trying to be think that you're gonna get certain kind of votes. Well, at the end of the day, you tried that last time and it didn't work. Look who the president. So I mean, we as believers, we as citizens, we got to say, hey, hold up. No, if you're going to pass a law, be inclusive. That's for all children, not just white kids that's going to be offended. And if they being offended now, they're going to grow up and be adults. So then what? Little mama can't help you no more. Daddy can't. No, we want kids to be well-rounded. I want my grandkids to learn everything they can, because at some point they become adults, and then they don't know. Are you protecting them? Are you kidding? Anyway, that's it for me with with what I perceive to be annoying, and I've been watching it, and it's a shame. It's a shame, and we need to speak up. It don't make sense. All right, pass a law, fine, but you can't exclude children based. You saying you're passing a law based on the color of their skin, so you discriminating against other children because maybe they're offended about what they're being taught. Some of the lies that they've been taught, maybe they're offended. So that is one of the things that really bugged me. So I got off my box, and I'm going to move on from that. But I just wanted, oh, I'm froze. Shoot. Why is this computer freezing me? I'm wondering if I'm being frozen because I was speaking my mind. So I'm froze. Y'all, give me a minute here. I don't know why I'm froze. So I'm not sure. I'm froze on my end. I just want to see if I'm frozen on you guys' end. It's kind of funny. I have not been frozen. I guess what I was saying was people didn't like it maybe. But I wasn't being offensive. I was speaking my observation of what I see and what I observe. Oh, wow, I'm froze on my end. Isn't that something? I'm totally froze. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So yeah, my everything's froze on this end. Let's see. I can't even move. Wow. All right. Hopefully I'll be able to go a little further here. My apologies. I am totally on my laptop. I'm froze. I can't. Oh boy. Ew. Okay, hopefully I'm back in. So let me see. Hold on a minute. Let's see here. Okay. Can y'all see me now? Hopefully I'm back in. Okay, great. Thank you. Whew. My apologies. I don't know what happened, y'all. It just kicked out. That's called technology. I'm like, what is going on? I'm just oh boy, I just hate it. All right, thank you, everybody. Again, my apologies. I don't know what was happening. I said my little spiel, and maybe I should just keep my mouth closed, huh? But I said what I said. So we're gonna get going here. I'm trying not to keep you long after going through this doggone computer. You know, sometime with technology, man. Um, hold on a second. Let me pull up my document I need. Went totally, everything just blanked out. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All righty. Here we go. So let me just give a little, just my little spiel so uh, we can get going here. Okay. Thank y'all so much for you guys that came back. I'm so appreciative of you coming back. And again, I apologize for whatever happened. It happened. I don't know. Anyway, my name is Annette Anderson. This is TNT Tuesday Night Talk, and this is where we take flight and soar. We speak it, orate it, articulate, and reverberate it. We talk about some things which I've already told about my personal pet peeve that I have. And I just decided that I was going to say what I had to say about it. So I've said it, and I'm going to move on from it. But, you know, the Bible tells us that we have to watch as well as pray. So we have to keep our eyes open and don't let things slip up on us, you know, and then we have to pray about it and trust God about it and believe about it. So and it's very interesting because what I'm talking about tonight is believing. And I chose that word believing because so many times we've been called to do a work, or God have anointed us to do a certain thing, and some things we do willingly and some we don't. And sometimes, excuse me, sometimes it's just because we don't believe. We don't believe that, number one, we don't believe we've been called. There have been times when, even in my own life, sometimes I say, God, you're going to use me, really? I used to chuckle about it, used to tickle me. But yeah, but he has called us. And so we have to get to the point that we start believing and trusting what God has said and what he's calling us to do, to believe. And believing is to have confidence in the truth, the existence, or the reliability of something, although without resolute proof that one is right in doing so. So when you believe, it means that you have to step out even when you can't see it. You have to step out even when it's not tangible. You can't put your hand on it. Believing is standing firm in something that maybe other people can't see. Like if you have a vision or a dream. And so many times, you know, we have dreams and visions and people can't see them. And you can't always make people understand to see what you see. And so we have to believe that it can come to pass. And I believe I believe that believing it's very hard for us. It's hard for us to say, you know what, this can happen. It's hard to say, well, you know, I know I don't have the money, I don't have the know-how. Like I shared before, I bought a sewing machine and I bought a Cricut. Now I don't know how to use them, but I have a vision and I have a dream. And so what I had to do is step out and buy it, and God's going to do the rest. You know, of course, I'm gonna have to take classes. I'm gonna have to learn how to sew and do some other things because I've always wanted to learn how to sew. And so I stepped out and purchased some. And it's one more thing I got to purchase, where the machine that you can make shirts and stuff like that, because I'm trying to walk in my vision, and I know where I'm at in my life, that I need to have multiple streams of income coming in. And so I've come up with a plan and an idea and a vision how I'm going to do that. And so we can talk all day what we want to do, but what are you doing about what you want to do? What are you saying? You say God said this. So what are you doing about what he said? Even though you may not know how to do it, you may not know to have any know-how, you may not be able to do it at all. Because sometimes when we call to do something, you're like, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't have no money. I don't have no car. We begin to say everything that we don't have, and then we forget to tell God what we do. What we do have. Well, I got my mind, I got my hands, I got my ability. No, I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to take the next step. So that's why it's so important to believe if you've been called to do something. And I know it's hard. One of the things that we're doing with the movement is we're helping people to get to their destiny. We're helping people. If you have an idea, if you want to run it past us, if you're thinking about some things, or how can I get logos, and how can I do this and do that. So that's one of the things that we're trying to help people do, because we understand the importance of stepping out and walking in your destiny, and walking in those things that only you've been called to do. Now, it don't mean that other people can't do it, but they haven't been called to do it the way you do it. There's a whole lot of people on social media, but maybe all of them not called to do what I've been called to do, or whatever you've been called to do. And sometimes what happens is we will sit back and not walk in our God-given destiny. That's what will happen. And it's happened to me for so long in my life. So today, when I was studying about believing and trusting, and being able to and rely, because it means to have confidence in it, and to rely on something, right, and believe that God can do it. And so I saw a couple of quotes. Of course, I like quotes, and I saw a couple of quotes that I want to share with you tonight. One of the quotes is, "As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live." And when I saw that, that was so powerful to me, because as soon as you get to the point that you trust yourself, maybe not necessarily to get the entire job done, but you trust yourself enough to step out and do it. And that's one of the hardest things, to do it. You can have visions, you can write it down, you can make it plain, you can do all that kind of stuff, and that's awesome. But then the stepping out, the believing that I could step out and do it. I could trust God enough to say, you know what, even if it don't work out the first time, second or third, even if you talk to some CEOs and other people who build businesses and organizations, if you talk to some of them, they'll tell you that most of the time their dream didn't come through the first time. It took several times for them to walk out and to believe that it could come to pass. So, and so when we see these people that what we call made it already, if we could just talk to some of those people, and that's one of my desires, to have them come on and just to talk to you guys and say, hey, I'm doing this now, but it didn't start that way. It started out with some tears. It started out, sometimes I didn't think I would make it. Even some people I have said, you know what, that's it. I'm throwing in the towel. That's it. Because after the COVID, so many people lost their businesses. So many people lost their organizations. And a lot of that, of course, because of the COVID, because of the finances. It don't mean they can't recover. It just meant at that time that they couldn't keep the business going. So when you start a business, sometimes it may be just you, and maybe another person. And even on tonight, when I signed on, it was a few people, but then I don't know, the thing started acting up. But that has nothing to do with what I've been called to do. If it act up, I have to go out and come back in, which is what I did. And so I just want to encourage people to believe, but first of all, believe in God. Believe that He's called you. Believe that He's anointed you. Believe that He has you in the palm of His hand. He has you. He molded you. Then you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can make it, and that you can overcome, you can walk through some things. And that could be so difficult sometimes, even believing in yourself. So many times we believe in everybody else, but we can't believe in ourselves. I've spoken with so many people over my life, tried to encourage them, girl, you can do this. Try go on out there and take that step. But I myself wasn't believing. I was believing for them, but I could not believe for me. I could not believe that I could make it. I could not believe that I had what it took. Even when I come on here sometime, I say, God, give me the words to say. Because the purpose of this platform is to encourage somebody, to motivate you, to push you into destiny. So many times people would do more if they had somebody to kind of maybe get in their ear a little bit, say, hey, you got what it takes, but you got to take what you have. and keep going. And so that's the struggle that we have. And even when I was on here earlier, man, that was very annoying. And so what happens is when you're trying to do something, like what happened to me earlier, where the computer went out. So that kind of stuff discouraged people. So when things like this happen, they say, forget it. I'm not going to even worry about it. I'm not going to do it because you know what? It ain't going to work no way. Every time I try to do something, it fall apart. So then we start having that party, that pity party. Woe is me. But hey, okay, the computer went out. And if it didn't come back on, what was I going to do about it? I'll just come back again next week. Why? Because I'm just determined that regardless of what happens with the technology, or what happens just in life general, even on this week, I had some major things happen in my life, and but I still have to go forward. And I still have to keep pushing, and I still have to keep believing and trusting. And I don't just come on here and say this because I have nothing else to say. I come on here and say this because I really believe it. Not only do I just believe it, I live it. I've been walking through it. Everything I've been saying, like, trust God, you can do it. Go. Then, okay. And I guess God said, oh, yeah, that's what you said. Let's see. Let's see if you're going to keep going. Let's see if you're going to keep persevering. Let's see if you're going to make it to the end. Because so many times, man, how many times I've wanted to give up. How many times I want to throw in the towel and say, oh my gosh, I can't take this no more. But I have to keep trusting, hey, Barbara, and keep believing. And I'm here to tell you, you can do it. And you can do it. I'm telling you, I'm a living witness. You can do it. One of the other quotes that I saw that I thought was really good, it said, pride is holding your head up when everyone around you has theirs bowed. Courage is what makes you do this. Pride, not the kind of pride. They're not talking about the kind of pride that you puffed up. They're not talking about that kind of pride. They're talking about that kind of pride that you're going to step forward and do what you've been called to do. That kind of pride to say, regardless of what, I'm going to do what I've been called to do, regardless of what's in my pocket, regardless of whether my friends or my family agree. And some people may think you're crazy. They're like, you doing what, child? You ain't gonna, girl. You ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna make it. And that sometimes you get that. Excuse me, but that pride that God had put on the inside, that godly pride says that I'm gonna make it, that I'm going to keep going, I'm gonna keep my head up, I'm gonna keep persevering and going forward. And that's why it's so important to understand the importance of believing. If you ever stop believing, you're in trouble. If you ever stop saying, because let me say this, I'm gonna say this. Oftentimes we stop believing is because we don't see no manifestation. We don't see God moving. We don't see things changing for us. Some of us been going through the same thing 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We don't see a move, because God made us visual. So we want to see something. We want to see some moving and some shaking. But sometimes it's not going to be that way. So one of the things I've learned that in my season of waiting, I'm not sitting just idle waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting for God to do some things. But in the meantime, I'm gonna do what I can do. I'm gonna do as much as I can do while I'm waiting on Him to do what He can do. So we can't sit around just wait on God to come and just do. No, you got to do some things for yourself. You got to believe for yourself. And see, it's like a plant, and I often talk about a plant. When you plant a seed, I'm sorry, and it goes into the ground, it goes into a dark place, and there's some germinating and other things that's going on under the ground. And so when that happens, what happens, even though you don't see it, it does not mean it's not happening. So as that seed is germinating, and you put fertilizer and water or whatever that particular seed requires, then all of a sudden you start getting a harvest. And that's how it is, just how it is in the natural, that's how it is in the spirit. You got to know that God is working it. It's underground. You can't see it. You can't touch it. It's not tangible. It don't look like it's happening. And if you, even when you plant a seed, I'm not good with plants, but I got a couple. I had about 5 plants. 3 of them died. Yeah. But anyway, I have 2 left. And so now, every time I think about it, I go throw some water on them. But I'm looking at their green. And even though I don't have a green thumb, they're green because even though I had pretty much ignored them, there was enough nutrient in the dirt that even when I didn't water them, they still had some nutrients because a couple of times I felt the dirt and it was still moist. And so I hadn't watered in a while. So that particular plant, I think it can almost live under any conditions. So it still has the nutrient. It's still able to do what it needs to do. And it's still, going and going and going and going. And so that's what's so awesome about your life. So just know that even though it don't look good and it don't, I always tell people it may not look good, it may not smell good, it may not even taste good, but God is doing something. And I just want to encourage somebody to on this night to believe. See, when this computer kicked me out, I was like, oh my gosh. So I said, well, I was telling myself, I said, well, the people who are on here, they probably won't come back because they don't think I'm coming back. I said, but you know what? I still got to try. I still got to come back on. Even if they don't come back on, that's okay because they can watch later, or maybe God will put whoever He wants on here. And so what happens is when these kind of things start to happen to you, you have to have a resolve within yourself that regardless of what happens, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep persevering. And that's one of the most difficult things to do, that regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what people say about you, regardless of how things are coming together, that you still keep moving and keep pushing and believe it. And that's it can be tough. And I come on here because I just want to encourage you that even through the tough time, God is there, even through the difficult time. And when I was talking earlier about the laws and the critical race theory, and I definitely I'm passionate about that. But even with that, I had to understand that even I said what I said, and I meant what I said. But I had to understand that God has it at the end of the day. You could fuss, argue, be mad, and people could do stuff, change laws, do undercut stuff. But if it's not in the will of God, it is not going to work anyway. And so I'm trying to get to the place in my life that I understand that concept, and then certain things won't bother me as much. But I ain't there yet, okay? And here's another quote I want to share with you. Say, if you hear a voice within you say, you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and the voice will be silent. Is it if you hear a voice within you that say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and the voice will be silent. So what that quote is said, if by chance there's something that you something on the inside of you that keep telling you to do something, do it. That thing saying you can't make it, show that thing you can. And this is what this quote is saying. That voice, that voice on the inside. We all have that little thing and telling us what we cannot do. Girl, you can't make it. Girl, you too old. Girl, you black. Girl, you white. Girl, it just on and on. You don't have no money. All those negative things to hinder you and to stop you from growth, from growth. And that's what happens sometimes because it deters you. But this particular quote is by Vincent van Gogh. So he's a painter. So what if he had not stepped out and painted? So I don't want to ever go back 5 years, 5 years or 10 years down the road and say, you know what, I didn't even try. Wonder where I'd be if I tried. Wonder what I'd be doing now. And I've done it in my past. Like, dang, I should have did this. I should have did that. Of course, you can't change yesterday, but you can start working on today and go forth and step out and believe. And that's the thing. You have. I mean, I don't know how many times I could reiterate it, that if you don't believe, you're in trouble. Because if you don't believe that it can be, so many times we live our life based on what's happening now. Well, heck, you could be taught from the floor up now. So we have to live our lives. We can't live our lives based on always what we see, because sometimes what we see is craziness. What we see, child, it's stupid. Because it don't look like, oh, I ain't gonna never make it. I ain't gonna never do this. I'm not gonna never do this. I'm not gonna do this. We begin to tell ourselves things because we look at our current situation and struggle with my finances. I have struggled with my finances probably most of my life. And so when I started my businesses, because I got several and I'm working on them, I'm trying to get them off the ground. So when I started my businesses, the first thing I told myself, I had no money. I did. I said, God, dog, I have the money. I don't think I'll be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to persevere. I'm not gonna make it. I'm just not. I can't see how I could possibly do this and that. And then one of the things I learned that there are so many things that you can do free. I'm like, wow, I can do this free. When I'm on social media, this is free. This is free. And so many other things I've done, making I do quotes and all that. The quotes are not free, but the cost is very minimum. And so what I did is when I started the organizations, I started with Anita, and she started telling me stuff. I started doing research. I said, oh, I can do that. What? And then eventually there will be times that you will have to probably depending on what you're going to be doing, you may have to come out your pocket, but you could start somewhere. Somewhere. And don't let nobody tell you too old. I'm 62. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do it. Nah. The devil's a lie. Yes, you can. You have it. I say it all the time. You have what it takes, but you got to take what you have and begin to step out on that. And that's one of the most dangerous things. Again, I'm going to say it until I get off of here tonight. It's dangerous to not believe. It's dangerous when you stop believing and say, and you give up. No, even if you have to step away for a moment. I had to step away, but don't give up. Because sometimes you have to step away and regroup and try to get it together because you can get kind of frazzled and all miscombobulated and all that stuff. And sometimes you may have to step away. But I want to encourage somebody tonight that don't give up because all is well. Don't stop believing that it can be. Don't look at what is. See, that's what we miss it. If I look at what is right now, if I look at what is, I will sign off and never come back on. So I can't look at what is. I have to look at, I thank God for where I am, but I have to look at what will be, what I know shall come to pass if I put in the work. And that's another thing where you can't be lazy in this walk. I know it's rough. I know you want to get in and go and lay down and cover up your head and, woe is me. And he did me wrong. She did me wrong. These children get on my nerve. Got no money. Telling yourself all that stuff and all that is fine. But at some point, you got to get up out of that bed, get up out of that affliction, because that's a trick of the enemy to tell you what you cannot do. Hey, what won't you try this? Start doing research. Even if you don't start your business now, your organization, start doing research. Go out on social media and see what people are doing that you have been called to do. See what's going on out there. Or if you know somebody who's doing it, do some research, find out, begin to look. Because I'm gonna tell you something. What will happen is once you get that burning on the inside, just like Jeremiah was talking about, it's like fire shut up in your bones. So when that thing start to burn on the inside, I'm telling you, you keep moving and moving and going. And so that's why I'm over here. I mean, sometimes being so excited, I have to count it because I talk fast. I say, slow it down, girl, because you're trying to tell somebody something. But I'm that way because I'm excited about what God can do. And I'm telling you that based on my life. Yeah, I read about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and I read about all those wonderful characters in the Bible, and I love them. I love the Word of God. But I'm telling you from a living, breathing, walking testimony of what God can do if you just believe. I'm a living witness. I was never gonna do nothing. I'm serious. I was gonna work 40 years. I had already planned. I tell the story. I worked 37, but my plan was to work 40 years, retire, and at 65, get my Social Security retirement and get me some Medicare. And I'm just gonna cruise through life. I was just gonna enjoy the Word of God. I wasn't gonna preach. That wasn't even on the agenda. I had chopped that out. I ain't gonna do that. Nope, because that's too much pressure. That's what I told myself. And that was my plan, but that was not who God had me to be. No, I retired in 37 years and moving forward, organizations stepping out. Even now we're doing new things. I got all kind of plans on hold right now till I get through with some other stuff that's mandatory. And then I'm going to start on it. I'm never going to stop until God stops me or I can't move again. Why? Because that fire that's in me, it constantly burns, and I really don't know how to put it into words. But what I do know is that if he did it for me. But I had to get to a place where I started believing. First, believing in him. Because I can't believe in myself because I know I'm jacked up. I mean, I can believe that I can do stuff, but I had to make sure my belief system was lined up correct for me. And then I started believing who he made me and what I could do and who I could be. And when I started seeing that and started doing stuff, I said, I told somebody one time, I was talking about when I was in school, and I said, if I had applied myself the way I am now when I was in school, I would have been a genius, an absolute genius. I was smarter than I knew I was because I didn't apply myself. It was irrelevant. I didn't want to go to school anyway. I just wanted to help and get out. And I was thinking back to those years and years ago. I said, if I had just applied myself, you know, but that was not what I was interested in at the time. I actually would have been pretty smart. So, I just said all that to say this just to begin, just to begin, read the word, and begin to believe. Believe in your dreams, believe in your visions, believe in that you can make it, believe that you can walk through anything. Just believe. And I need to say this before I get off. When I was on last week, I was saying Mary J. Blige sang a song, uh, something about something about beautiful. My daughter said me, she said, no, no, no. She said, good morning, gorgeous. I said, I told her, I said, when I come home and do a disclaimer. Oh, by Mary J. Blige, I think the song said, good morning, gorgeous or something, but I said beautiful. So, I messed the words up. So I just wanted to do that. I told her I was going to say that. I'm like, oh, no, that's what I said. So yeah, I did say that actually when I started thinking about it, but I just want to throw that in. So I'm almost finished. I want to read this quote tonight for you. And it says, always be yourself and have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and try to duplicate it. In other words, there's only one Juanita Bottom. There's only one, and there's a, it's all right to want to emulate somebody you like, but when you get to the point like you dress like them, talk like them, because I hear a lot of preachers, especially men. I'm not saying women don't do it, but especially men. God, why you say? First of all, you don't talk like that. So what is all that? They got a certain stance in the hand in the pocket, and I was watching something today. I kind of chuckled where the men were preaching and they run all up to the preacher and hit him, and oh, that's fine. I guess that's a God thing. I guess preach, doc. That's a God thing, but just learn how to be you. And I promise you, if you learn how to be you, that is the best thing you could be. Because I can't be anybody simply because my memory, I've been forgot I'm trying to be somebody. My memory, I've been went somewhere else. Because even when I'm on here, sometimes I go back and listen to myself. I say, oh, I didn't even finish that thought. So I know I can't be other people. And then I'll say this about being yourself. Learn how to love you. I think even in my own walk, I had to learn how to love me. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like who I had become. I didn't like the fact I let people run over me. I didn't like the fact that I let people say anything to me. I didn't like how I looked at me. So I had to really get to the point that I looked in the mirror and it said, okay, all right, this is it. God, this is who you made me. I would like my hair to be longer. Maybe I like light brown, whatever. But this is who you made me to be. So I'm gonna embrace that with everything I have. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna walk it out to the best of my ability. If God called me home tomorrow, and I hope He don't, but if He does, I want to make sure I've lived my life to the fullest and be able to love me. And the problem is, and why we got all this foolishness in our country with relationships and all kinds of craziness, that we have not learned how to love ourselves. And if you got issues, go get some help. I'm so sick of people thinking, that you don't need help. Yes, some of you and me needed to be on somebody's couch. But thank God brought me through it. But I'm gonna tell you something. I should have been on 2 or 3 people couches because I had some things that I could not understand, and it stunted my growth, and it caused me not to go forward in the things I've been called to do. And maybe maybe that thing that unresolved issue, or sometimes we're just mad at our parents, or we're mad at people who dead. We just mad at people, mad at ourselves, just mad. Some of us just mad to be mad. But then you have to learn how to love yourself, and then you'll be able to love others better. And this is why we have so much dysfunction. And I was very dysfunction. I was very dysfunctional. Oh my God. I put the D in dysfunctional because I didn't know. I didn't know. I went from 15 married, children, that kind of thing. And so I had a big gap that I didn't learn. I learned some stuff, but I had that gap that I never should have been married at that age because I still was a child myself. And so then I had all those little girl issues bothered on the inside of me. And then I had people telling me who I was. You never make it. Oh, you're too skinny. And I was skinny back then. Oh, you think I want you with all these children. Oh, you ain't nothing. Oh, you ain't nobody. Girl, you'll never make it. You'll never, all this kind of stuff. And so it snowballed. One of the greatest things that happened to me, of course, other than birth, was when my at the time was my sister-in-law. Like I didn't want to work. I had already resolved I was going to get my food stamp, my Medicaid, and I'm just going to sit back and chill. I'm not working. I want to work. What am I working for? My rent was free. She came to my house and told me about it. They were hiring at DCF. At the time it was HRS. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want no job. Why I want a job for? And she told me these words. She said, you're not going to be like these other girls around here sitting around, not doing anything. She went and got the application. She filled it out and I signed it. And so I just went to the interview just to shut up. I said, well, I'm just going to go. I don't want no darn job. They ain't going to hire me no way. Went and got the job. Got the job. At her funeral, I told that testimony. Because sometimes God will put the right people in your life at the right time. Because I wasn't going to look for no job. I didn't want to work. I was okay where I was. So I thought. But this my children's aunt, my two older daughters' aunt, came and told me those words. And I never forgot. I always thanked her for that. I've always thanked her for that. And so that's another thing so important. Why you believe, get somebody in your with you that's be accountable. I have an accountability partner. I'm accountable to Nita. I'm accountable to, Sharon. I'm accountable. If I say I'm gonna do something, then I need somebody to say, then you say you're gonna, why you ain't doing so and so? I used to, my little girl Jasmine, she get married on Saturday. She used to always tell me, why you ain't going back to school yet? I said, girl, I ain't going to no school. But she would tell me every time she saw me, so that's so important. And years ago, almost 38 years ago, this girl knocked on my door and came in and told me that I was gonna go to work. And I'm looking at her like, no, I'm not. I don't want to go to work. And so what that tells you, God has a way of putting the right people in your life. So even if you're struggling, I'm almost finished. Even if you're struggling on tonight and it don't seem like you're going to make it, don't seem like you're going to, persevere. Things are tore up from the floor up. You don't know what you're going to do. You can't seem to get it together. Oh Lord, woe is me. Just know, start believing in you, and then get an accountability partner. That is so important. That was so important for me. Even to get where I'm at now, because it was so much I didn't know. I had a dream, I had a vision, I had a desire, I had a burning, but there was so much I did not know. And so God put the right people with the right person with me, because when we started the movement, it was 4 of us. And me personally, I thought we would be, all 4 of us would still be together, but that was not to be. And that's fine, because they serve their purpose. And my blessings to those women, because they're doing great things and I truly do love them. But what happened is God put somebody in my path, say, now, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Somebody be patient. Because when I say I put the D in dumb, I did not know how to do any of that stuff, but I was willing. See, I was willing. And so I just want to encourage y'all, just be willing. I know it don't seem like you can make it. Yeah, you can. Hey, call me, email me, hit me up. I promise I'll hit you back up. If you want, even if you got an idea or something, you want to bounce it out off on somebody, accountability partner, girl, I'm gonna hold you accountable. Listen here, you better not tell me to hold you accountable. Because I'll be called, excuse me. Like I used to say when I was growing up, excuse me, did you do this? Did you do that? Because it's not like you being pushy. What you're saying is, my belief is as hooked to your belief. And us two together, or three together, or four together, or whatever together, we're gonna make a difference. It's gonna be a difference. We're gonna believe. Hey Sharon, hey Connie, Barbara, Sharon, and we're gonna believe. So that accountability. So anytime y'all can hit me up, um, a back. I won't say back channel. I'm talking about back channel. That's what we do on another platform, back channel. But my email. I mean, you can find me. I'm on Facebook. Hit me up, inbox me, whatever you need to do, and because I just want everybody just to start stepping out and walking in what you believe and what you've been called to do. Again, like I told you earlier, the system, my computer went down, froze, but that didn't stop anything. That I mean, it may have maybe I lost a couple people. They didn't think I was coming back, but that's fine. But see, that's called life. Even in life, when you step out, things can happen when a life can freeze you too. You everything looking good, everything rolling, and all of a sudden it stops. And at times like those, you really need accountability to kind of keep saying, you know what, I know it don't look good right now, but keep believing, keep trusting. It's going to be all right. You're going to make it, regardless of what it looks like. So that's what I wanted to share. I had some scriptures tonight, but now my system went down and it threw me off. But I just want to encourage you, and I want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing with me, because I come on and one of the things I was doing last year, I think I'm back to doing it. I have this one word, because I do Hey Girls, a one word affirmation. And so SOAR is speaking. Everything I said, everything was so speak, orate, articulate, reverberate. It's talking about open up your mouth and talk. And so I want to come actually I want to do like the one word affirmation, the one word telling you to trust, to believe, whatever the case may be. And so I think that's what I'm going to do for a couple of weeks, and hopefully next month. Well, actually, we almost in next month. I'm gonna do another testimony Tuesday. Hopefully, I can get somebody to come on. And if you guys at any time want to come on and do testimony Tuesday, what testimony Tuesday is just where you come on. You have the floor and to share your testimony, because somebody needs to know how you overcame. So you'll be surprised that people look at you and they think you got it all together because you look good and all that stuff, but they don't know how tore up you was. How they don't know how the doctor may have walked by and shook his head and say, come on, all the family come, because she's not going to make it or he's not going to make it. So those type of testimonies are so important. It may not even be to that degree. You just may want to testify how God kept you all these years. How you didn't think you was gonna make it. Because I'll be honest, I didn't think I would live past 35. I don't know why I thought I was going to be. I don't know. I always thought I was going to be dead by then. I don't know where that come from. But thank God the devil is a liar, because I truly don't think that anymore. But I had some issues, and every chance I get, I tell my own testimony on here. Whenever something comes up, I think I shared something last week about when I was growing up and all that stuff. When I went to my class, graduated in 1977. I got my GED in 1976. I got married in 75. So it was a snowball. All that stuff went on and went on. But anyway, so that's going to be it for me tonight. I just come up, like I said, I come on here to encourage. My name is Anna L. Anderson, and this is TNT Tuesday Night Talk, and this is where we take flight and soar. We speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. And so we just talk about some things like I talked about earlier about the critical race theory. Sometimes I'll come on and say stuff about it. Most time I'm trying to stay away from certain things, but I'm sorry, I just had to say what I had to say. And but my main objective when I come on is to really encourage you, and to encourage you to get that fire, like like I have that fire on the inside, to let you know it's going to be okay, regardless of what it looks like. I know it looks bad some days. So many days I'll be like, I can't make it. I can't make it. And then some on the inside of me say, yeah, you can. Just keep persevering. Keep trusting and believing. And so tonight I want you guys to believe and know everything will be all right. So I'm going to be back next Tuesday at 9. But tomorrow night we will be on, me and Anita Faye Wilson will be on the same platforms, YouTube and this particular platform. And I would love for y'all to come and share with us. And that'll be on 7 tomorrow. And I really would like you to come back and share because that is one of my favorite platforms that we do. There's something for everybody. There's something we laugh. Oh, some of my followers are so funny. Movers and shakers, some of the stuff they say, it is so awesome. And so, I would love you guys to come back and share with us tomorrow. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you so much. And my apologies for my computer freezing earlier. But hey, that happens in life. Life will freeze you sometime. But sometimes you just have to reboot and come back. Okay. So that's it for me tonight. Good night. Have a blessed rest of the night and week. And just know that you must keep believing. Don't ever, ever stop believing. All right. Good night, everybody.